Oh baby, it's a haul. It's a haul. I am supposed to be on a no buy, low buy, but my husband needed a new pair of pants, and so we went to Saks off 5th the other day, and I'm sure you can guess what happened. Purchases were made, not necessarily the wisest, most thought out choices. Am I angry I made these purchases? No. All my carts that are open and curated, my wish lists that are curated, those carts and wish lists are upset with me. I told myself I wasn't going to make any more purchases until I got back to New York in March, so I could not accumulate too many of my fragrances here. And because shipping is faster from like Fragrance Buy and Fragrance Net when I'm in New York. I'm impatient. Regardless, purchases were made. I will share with you what these purchases were. I will also share one other fragrance that I bought earlier in this year and a couple of my Scentbird choices. These are all affordable designer choices. Let's jump right in. So let's begin with my scent of the day today, and it is Bulgari's Au Thé Bleu. This is an eau de cologne. Bottle is a lovely matte blue, really nice and heavy in your hand. The cap is nice and heavy too. It has a beautiful atomizer. I don't know if any of you care, but oof, look at that. Yes. Yeah. Let me just dose. This was a major success. This is everything I wanted Prada's Infusion de Riz to be, but that one just didn't work on me. That's one that has that stab you in the third eye feeling. It's something about its molecular structure is incredibly sharp. This has a fascinating shiso note at the top, which gives it a little bit of a citric burst, but it is in essence a really beautiful, powdery, purple floral, violet, and iris scent. You guys know I love my purple florals. I love my iris. So while it isn't a purely iris scent, it gives that powdery lightness for me that I wanted from Infusion de Riz. It's by the same perfumer, Daniela Andrier, so it still has that ethereal, translucent quality that a lot of her fragrances have. So while it is a tea fragrance, I don't actually get a whole lot of tea. It's more like the memory of tea or the aura of tea. What it really evokes for me is early summer, you're by the herb garden, it's cool and there's no actual sunlight, it's all shade with fresh washed linens drying on the line. The linens are cold and damp. It leans ever so slightly masculine. It has something of a traditional cologne aftershave type of scent profile, something like a 4711. And even though there's no citrus, that shiso gives it just that tinge of a citrus brightness, and it has a bit of an aromatherapeutic quality to it. It really does smell blue. The color of the bottle and the texture of the bottle reflects what it smells like. It's a cool, crisp fragrance. I'm excited to spend more time with this and come back with a full review, but right now I'm really, really loving it. Bulgari's Eau Parfumée Au Thé Bleu. These next ones, I'm a little mad at myself that I purchased what I did. It's this Bulgari Omnia set. These three little guys. What I really wanted was the Omnia Amethyst. That's been on my wish list for a while. Even though there's no lilac notes, it's really a pretty photorealistic lilac fragrance to me. So it looks like this. It doesn't come in the iconic chain bottle that the other Omnias come in, but whatever. It is a beautiful, musky, powdery, lilac, purple floral heliotrope fragrance. Nothing groundbreaking, but just really nice, and I love lilac. More just a relaxing scent for me to wear around the house or to bed. I should have just gotten this, but you know what happens. You see a 3-pack and you're like, well, maybe, then I have 3. These other 2 are fine. Omnia Crystalline is a ethereal, translucent, slightly woody musk. It smells like a Juliet has a gun molecular fragrance. It has that kind of scent profile quality. It's fine, inoffensive, slightly sharp for my liking. And Omnia Coral is basically the same thing with a little bit more of a fruity note. There's pomegranate hibiscus in here, so it's a little more youthful. Also nice, inoffensive. It goes a little bit too sharp again on my skin. I don't think I will be wearing this, even though the scent itself is fine. Those two will probably wind up on my Mercari, and I will probably wind up going back and buying a full bottle of this, which is what I should have done in the first place. I didn't like the original Omnia. It didn't work with my skin chemistry. I liked the way it smelled in the bottle, but on my skin it did something funny, which I think is sort of consonant with these two as well. This is the only one of the Omnias that performs beautifully on my skin. That was my part mistake panic purchase. When your psychology says, oh, it's better to have 3 than 1. FOMO. Those will probably go on Mercari. The Omnia Jewels Charm Collection. This next one was a win, and that is Mugler's Aura Sensuelle. I've been circling around this one for a while. I do really enjoy the original Aura. Oh, I gotta do my circle code. I've gotten some good gifts from Mugler from entering these codes. Do it. Yeah, I really do love the original Aura, and I was very curious about this one in this beautiful pearlescent bottle. I love this. How does it compare to the original Aura? They have the same DNA for sure. They have the same profile. There's no mistaking this is part of the line. This one is sweeter. It's more luscious, a little more voluptuous, more vanillic. It doesn't have the same quality of interest and intrigue that original EDP has. It doesn't have that swampy greenness of the rhubarb that gives it that cold jungle feel. That one is a very cold, wet scent. It only plays well with me half the time. I haven't figured out the exact formula for when it likes to perform well on my skin versus when it doesn't. I don't know if it's cashmeran or ambroxan or one of those that half the time works with me and half the time really doesn't. This does not have that particular note in it. This has a beautiful gardenia at the top and cinnamon leaf. I would never pick out cinnamon, but it gives it just a little bit of spice. When it dries down, it's almost like a melting milkshake. It's not cold. It's like when your milkshake or your ice cream has melted and it's warm, but it's that froth. I know that sounds weird. It's that froth on top of your melted vanilla ice cream sundae. Unfortunately, I wore this yesterday, and even though it is an eau de parfum, it performs nowhere near as well as almost any other Mugler that I've tried. But it's really beautiful. I'm so excited to spend more time with this one. I will probably come back with a proper comparison video of the two. But I love this line. I think it's so unique. This one, although less unique, is much more wearable, more cozy, more crowd pleasing. If you like the DNA in theory but couldn't wear the EDP, this is such a beautiful one. This was a major win. So that is Aura Sensuelle, the EDP. This one I already featured in my How I Spray Perfumes video, which I will link up here. This one is Elizabeth Taylor's Gardenia. I had heard such wonderful things about this one. I love Gardenia, and I feel like I'm entering into another Gardenia kick. I had a couple of years there where I was obsessed with Gardenia fragrances, and they're basically all I wore. Maybe like 15 years ago, my heavy Gardenia phase. I'm coming into it again, so I knew I needed to pick this one up. It does not disappoint. It's just such a fresh, bright, green, pure gardenia. Is it the most high quality? No. Is it slightly synthetic? Yeah. Is it ever gorgeous? It's such an easy wear. It reminds me a lot of the old classic Bath & Body Works gardenia, but you know, one step up from that. It has a green, dewy freshness. It's incredibly comforting. It's not a photorealistic gardenia, but it is like the memory of gardenias in bloom in your house. So when I was a kid, I grew up in Texas, we had these beautiful gardenia bushes in our front yard. My mom, when they were in bloom, would take the blossoms and put them in a shallow dish of water and place them in our dining dining room, the aroma was just incredible, stunning, so crisp and creamy. From other parts of the house, you wouldn't necessarily smell the indolic quality of the blossom itself. It would just be incredibly heady, creamy, clean bouquet. This is like the memory of that. It is not the photorealistic imprint of that. It is like a watercolor painting of your association to that memory, if that makes sense. Super, super affordable. If you love Gardenia, I feel like can't go wrong. Even if you don't want to wear it on your skin. As a room spray, it's fantastic. As a linen spray, just a gem to me. I'm so happy to have this. Elizabeth Taylor's Gardenia. I mean, the bottle is a little dinky, but and then last, we will go over a couple of my Scentbirds from January. I've been a member of Scentbird for a long time. What I like to do is instead of having them come once a month, when they come once a month, they just get kind of lost and I don't really try them out. I instead like to do every 3 months, I get 3 fragrances. So it gives me a little bit of fun to sort of play with them every couple of months so I don't get too overwhelmed. This month, I got a couple of the Scents of Wood fragrances. I have been so curious about this house. Their whole deal is that they macerate or age the alcohol that they use for the perfumes in these barrels. They formulate these fragrances on top of the alcohols that they have aged in these different wood barrels, I think. The one I was most excited about was Sandalwood in Oak, or Sandalwood, Burnt Sugar, Smoked Sage, Gaiac Wood, and Vanilla. I mean, spoiler alert, I was just kind of underwhelmed by both of these. At first spray, that sage gives it a savory tinge that I don't prefer. Then as it dries down, it almost feels like if Prada candy had woody notes in it. The sweetness of that sugar is so much like the dry down of Prada candy. It's pleasant enough. What is it, $240 or $270 price tag? I just don't feel that this is worth it. I guess I kind of wish I could smell this exact fragrance if it had not been formulated with the alcohol in the wood. I guess what I'm saying is I'm not sure if the gimmick of having it aged in wood is worth it. I wanted to be blown away, and I wasn't. So then this other one, Cedar and Acacia, notes are cedar, ginger oil, cinnamon bark, cypriol heart, and orris concrete. With these notes, I would imagine that I would be head over heels in love with these. They're just kind of meh. The quality is certainly there. It feels like I would rather have this as an atmospheric home fragrance than a fragrance I would want to emanate from myself. My husband and I age cocktails in our own wooden barrels, and this is what that smells like. It comes down to a matter of personal taste. I don't necessarily want to smell like a cocktail barrel, but if you do, this might be right up your alley. Not to be a downer. I don't mean to poo-poo. And then the last one from Scentbird was Nanban from Arquiste. Persian saffron, coffee absolute, myrrh, frankincense, and sandalwood. Pretty sure there are more notes listed on Fragrantica, but those are the ones Scentbird offers. What's interesting about this one is I had tested it from a sample size before and really liked it, but I knew I didn't need a full bottle, so I thought I would spring for a decant. It smells really different from the decant. Maybe it's just because I'm getting a larger mist from this sprayer versus like a sample sprayer, but this is so animalic. It is almost fecal, and it's not at all what I remembered. And that fecal quality continues through the length of the wear. I'll put it on, and that first maybe half hour to an hour is just pure animalic notes. I think it has something to do with copaiba is what is in there. I use that as an essential oil, so I'm really familiar with that as a note. I don't know, I think it's the copaiba that's mixing with the leather and the coffee in such a way that I don't get leather, I don't get coffee, I get poo-poo. I get primarily poo-poo. And so the first half hour is poo-poo. The next hour or two, it starts to exude a more beautiful woody, ambery quality that's nice, lush. And then every so often I'll move, like I'll turn my head and it's just poo-poo. So while it does feel somewhat addictive, I just can't once an hour on the hour, smell like a dump. So this was in a weird way a disappointment too, even though I purposefully got this. I guess what I'm saying is this month's Scentbird was a bit of a bust. So that's gonna be it for this mini haul, unintended haul. What do we want to call this? Accidental haul, ill-conceived haul, panic bought haul, just guilty haul. Nevertheless, my first haul of 2022. Hopefully they get better from here. Hopefully they're more well thought out, properly conceived, more acquisitions that I know will be to my taste. Let me know what you have purchased lately. Hop on over to Instagram and follow me over there, _RubyZion_. I hope you have an awesome day and I will see you in the next video. Bye.